Okay, so do you want to figure? Let's figure out a systematic way to go through titrations that'll make it easier. So, first thing is we want to figure out what how many moles of our titrant we're adding in. So, be that NaOH or maybe HCl. So, we want to get our moles of your titrant, which is, I believe, what's in the burette. Otherwise, this is going to be the strong base or strong acid you're adding.
Yeah, which in this case it was NaOH was in the burette.
All right, so that'll be our first step. Second step, determine your moles of whatever you're titrating, I guess. So moles of acid or base in the beaker. Next would be neutralization. Neutralization between the two.
Acid or base in beaker?
Yeah. Because I don't remember the exact terminology. I'm pretty sure titrant is what you're adding in, but I can't be positive, so I just figure.
Okay.
That way, if you look back on your notes and you don't remember the terminology either, then this makes a whole lot more sense than saying, titrant composite or something, So then we do the neutralization. Then we need to convert from moles to molarity. Then we can take the pH. All right, does that look like everything we did?
We had a total, I guess, mole. Oh, that's what you.
Yeah, convert from moles to molarity.
That was the total of those in the beaker.
Yeah. So let's make that note. Total volume.
Gotcha.
All right. This will work for everything that's above the equivalence point. So. Yeah, because the quarter, the half, the 3/4 are basically going to be the same calculations, just different pHs at the end.
Just different numbers as it's progressed.
Yeah, so once we get to the equivalence point, though, if it's a strong acid, strong base, neutral. If it's not, then we have an equilibrium to think about. So and weak base, strong acid equals the less than 7. All right, then strong base plus weak acid equals greater than 7. All right. So this is what your equivalence point will look like, depending on the 3 scenarios you can have.
Weak base, strong acid.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Then past the equivalence point, you have to think of what you're adding. So. Yeah, once you pass the equivalence point, you think, am I adding a strong base or strong acid? How much is being added to whatever pH I was already at?
Gotcha.
Yep. From there, it's pretty straightforward. Like past the equivalence point and before the equivalence point, it's usually pretty easy. 0.5 can be tricky depending on the situation, but normally it's pretty straightforward.
So ask what is that, and they basically, if it's an acid or base, what direction it's going.
Yeah. And I read crooked.
And
It's pretty much if you use this kind of methodology when you're going through it, it should be pretty easy to go through all the titrations. And you'll never have to worry about like a weak acid plus a weak base being added together, because the chemistry that goes on there is very equilibrium dependent. It'd be very complicated to get through. You could get through it, but it'd take you a while. So we don't typically do them, and they're not useful anyway. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Did you get all those written down? So you got
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Down.
Yeah. Most important thing is remembering your total volume for your molarity when you're doing pH. If you remember that, you'll be pretty solid.